Yo, what's up guys? It's Bird here from Addict Gaming, and today we are going to take a look at a game that I just finished playing that released on November 18th, and that is called Never Alone. Now, Never Alone, the actual story behind how this became a game is very interesting. There is an organization in Alaska called Cook Inlet Tribal Council, and the CEO is Gloria O'Neill. And what she wanted to do is she wanted to spread the culture of Native Alaskans to people, to try to break some stereotypes. And she thought one of the best ways that she could do this is by playing or by developing a video game. So she reached out to a company called Eline Media, and that's a company that focuses a lot on educational games. And she reached out to Alan Gershenfeld, which is the founder of Eline Media. And they had a few discussions, and they ended up founding Upper One Games, which is the developer for Never Alone. And they hired Sean Vess, which is, he worked on Pitfall, The Mayan Adventure, and Tomb Raider as well. So they like his style of studying the local people in certain areas and adding them to the game. So that's why they added Sean Vess. So Never Alone is a short game. It's about maybe 3 to 5 hours to finish, depending on how quickly you play through it. It follows a little girl, Nuna, and a fox as a blizzard is taking over their city and everyone is starving. So she goes out to try to figure out what's causing the blizzard and to try to save her village. So the first thing I want to talk about with Never Alone is the art style. The art style of Never Alone is amazing. Everything from the character models to the environments, especially the environments, are spectacular. Granted, some of the cutscenes sometimes take a little bit of that sparkle away from the game, but the art while you're actually playing is downright gorgeous. I caught myself many times actually with my mouth wide open and my eyes are drying up a bit because I wasn't blinking. I was just so sucked into the game. So I'd have to swallow and rub my eyes a little bit. But the animations is also a thing I really love in this game. I feel like they're not floaty at all. They're very weighted, so it kind of immerses you more. I think for me anyway, for games, animation. Like we play Guild Wars 2 a lot. The one reason I love Guild Wars 2 is because the animations are so great. And in many games that I play, I like really good animations. If the animations aren't right, then I can't get immersed into the game, and it kind of throws me off a little bit. So yeah, the animations are definitely very smooth and very seamless, and just really immerse you into the story of this game. The environments, like I was saying earlier, is one of the amazing parts of this game. They're really dynamic and they are very interactive as well. There are parts where you're actually like riding on a tree while it's going through a map, and you have to kind of use your fox to pull the branches up so you don't fall down into the water and die. And so that's an environment where you're actually reacting to the environment rather than the environment reacting to you. And you're running away from polar bears. You have some chase scenes like that. And you also get to climb up some really large animated objects. And it makes the game feel really action-packed pretty much the whole way through. So if I were to rate each section separately, I would probably give the mechanics of the game the lowest score. Not saying that I would give it a low score, because the mechanics are still good, but I think everything else in the game might have been a little bit better than the mechanics. The great thing about the game as far as the mechanics goes, it has this 2-character puzzle solving mechanic, and this is really fun. So you're controlling Nuna, the little girl, and you're also controlling the fox, and you have to use both characters, and you can switch back and forth between the two, and then you can solve certain puzzles. You're going to have to go back and forth like that. Now, one of the annoying things about the game is that if say you're playing Nuna and you're running, the fox is going to follow you, and he'll do his jumps automatically. But if you go up a level and the fox is down a level, or vice versa, and you're running, the fox or Nuna will follow you, and sometimes they'll just jump to their death. And so sometimes it can be a little annoying. You have to switch characters to move them to make sure that they don't fall down and try to finish the puzzle. But the one reason I say that the mechanics are a little weak is that for the most part, the puzzles in the game is mostly platforming and puzzles, and I think the puzzles are a little weak. For the most part, the puzzles are fairly straightforward. There's not a lot of like backtracking and they're not too intricate. So I think if they're going to make a sequel to this game, that they need to work on the puzzles and just make them a little more elaborate than they actually were in this game. But the game has, the two characters simultaneously solving puzzles is a really good system, and it works very well in this game. You have the very interesting platforming, the different levels, and I don't want to spoil too much, but each level kind of has its own feel, and the platforming definitely changes a lot from each one. And the dynamic environments as well are really, where you have to react to what the environment's doing is really fun. So speaking of the two-character puzzle-solving team, the lack of character development for Nuna and the Fox is actually a very positive choice for the development, because even though I'm an almost 30-year-old white guy, I could actually easily put myself in Nuna's shoes and feel like I'm I'm that little girl trying to save my village. So sometimes, no character development is the best choice for a game, and its immersion for its players. So I also felt a natural bond between the two characters, Nuna and the Fox, and throughout the game you could feel the friendship kind of evolve over the course of the game. And it's interesting because they never speak to each other, but you don't really need words between Nuna and the Fox to feel that bond. It's kind of like a natural thing that develops between those two. And I think when you're working out the puzzles with the two characters, you just kind of naturally feel this really strong feeling of camaraderie between the two. Now, Never Alone does a really good job at progressing the story. The story overall is really good. I'm not going to talk about it much because I don't want to spoil anything, but the story is really good. They do a really good job at pacing. You never feel like you're not progressing towards something. You're always, you're always moving towards something and accomplishing something. And there are multiple nemesis in the game, so it basically includes different subsets to the story. So there are subset stories to the story. So as you're playing the main story arc, you're going to have these little stories in between as well. Now, the last thing to talk about is the audio for Never Alone, and I think the development team did a great job immersing you into the world that is Never Alone and the story with the music and with the ambient sounds. So not only do the visuals immerse you into the story and what's going on, but also the audio really sucks you in, and I think they did a very good job overall with the audio. The last thing I want to say about Never Alone is more directed to the developers, actually, than the game. And I just want to say congratulations to Upper One Games, because they are actually the first Native American development team ever. So they claim. So that's amazing if that's true. And I think they really nailed their first project. Of course, there are little bumps in the road, but that's with any game. I think if they make a sequel, they can definitely improve on the framework and the foundation that they already put in. I really hope that we do end up seeing a lot more games from this company. It's just so funny because this game was the whole idea of this game was to make it educational and share stories from Native Alaskan culture, and they really did that. But they made it, this game wouldn't have worked if it wasn't extremely entertaining. And that's what really sells it. There are a lot of games that are made just for entertainment, and then they suck, and they're quite boring. So I'm glad that I was able to learn like a nice little story from Native Alaskans and from their culture, learn about how they think a little more, and have a really good time. Again, it is a bit short. It's about 3 hours, 4 hours. I think I finished about a little over 3 hours. But it was a blast the whole time I played. So I'm really hoping that we see more games from them. And I'm really excited to see what they do in the future. This has been Bird from Addict Gaming, and these are my thoughts and opinions on Never Alone, a game developed by Upper One Games. Thanks for watching, guys.